Hey YouTube, what's going on? Steven Gamer here. Today we're going to be doing a reaction to the Nurgle versus Slaanesh gameplay trailer. This is two Chaos Gods duking it out. So let's get started.
Death. Inevitable, inescapable, irrefutable. Where there is death, there is fear. And from that fear, the Father was born. The Plague Lord, the Chaos God of disease, decay, destruction, and death by rebirth. Nurgle is undoubtedly the oldest of the ruinous powers, for death and decay are as old as life itself. The garden and its continuous growth and care are chief amongst the Fly Lord's concerns. That prized garden, diligently nurtured and toiled, stands sullied under the presence of indolent hedonists, seeking expansion for their excessive and decadent domain.
One thing I will say, just to butt in here, is that both armies look absolutely sweet, and the map looks absolutely sweet. So, I don't know if this is going to be a battle in game, a custom battle, something like that. But this is actually a sweet setup.
Playthings of Slaanesh have courted the ire of Kugath Plaguefather, the fetid brewmaster, the rotting poxmaker. Kugath's fascination with the breeding of fresh, virulent life has earned him high favor among Nurgle's chosen. Obsessed with concocting the perfect contagion, the Plaguefather returns to the realms of chaos only rarely, but sees such visits as the opportune time to trial his newest plagues on rival demons. Nurglings spew pus and disease as they burst on the knife-edged claws of Slaanesh's demonettes, whilst plague-bearers wade their oozing masses into the riot of ecstasy and infection.
Yeah, so one thing it looks like Nurgle is going to have a lot of sacrificial units, sort of like Banelings and StarCraft units that sacrifice themselves to cause damage. So that's pretty cool. And it should go well to that playstyle of kind of swarming your enemies. So that's kind of cool with that, with those numbers advantages.
At the border of the melee, the Plaguefather mulls, mixing concoctions both of material and mind. This sordid invasion feels to Kugath reminiscent of Nakari, Slaanesh's notorious keeper of secrets. Kugath has served Grandfather Nurgle long enough to recognize a feint. A feint indeed. For why else would Nakari himself not be leading the charge? It is unlike the Arch-Tempter to abstain from giving and receiving the gift of pain. The young god Slaanesh has much to learn in the ways of subterfuge and could stand to study the arts employed and mastered by the great conspirator, with whom Nurgle carries a mutual and enduring contempt. But what schemes could Nakari be plotting? A full...
If we look here, I'm not as versed as the lore. I don't really know the background, but if we look here, we do see a full-on assault, basically by Nurgle squad. It looks like that they may be again a more brute force swarm faction, where Slaanesh may be a more faction that's more dependent on magic and area of effect attacks. Keep going.
Scale assault on the garden? Unlikely. The feint here would suggest an attempt on Kugath's mortal territories. So it is the material realm Nakari means to blind the Plaguefather to. A valiant effort, but Kugath sees the truth eventually. Nurgle may be slow at times, but it's by design. Content with his assessment, Kugath means to end this distraction quickly. But first he must contend with Slaanesh's greater demon.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Looks like the Nurgle side's going to have a lot of ranged attack as well, and they're going to have a lot of area of effect, plague ridden attacks. So that should be interesting in terms of playstyle and like zoning away enemies.
Keeper of Secrets unleashes its Lash of Slaanesh spell, felling a dozen weakened Forsaken with a single whip. The mere act of witnessing the Keeper's power fans Slaanesh's lesser demons into a blissful rapture, injecting them with vigor and enhancing their martial prowess.
It looks like Slaanesh's demons are going to be able to buff their own troops, to fight harder. So that's also going to be pretty cool. Looks like that may be their sort of advantage in the field.
The affront against the garden lasts longer than Kugath had wanted. Indeed, he itches to return to the mortal realms to brew new plagues and discover Nakari's schemes. In an effort to overwhelm the Epicurean invaders, Kugath summons a tide of eager Nurglings. They swarm forth and explode on command, spreading disease and pus across the battlefield.
I definitely see these Nurglings as being one of the, I don't want to say overpowered or meta, but like one of the better units in the game, because this is going to allow you to zone away your enemy's more elite troops, and this is going to allow you to basically force your enemy to retreat or handle these Nurglings from a distance. So I definitely see that they're going to be extremely useful, especially on multiplayer.
Not satisfied with the explosion, the Plague Father employs the Law of Nurgle to summon up Light Boil. This festering, pulsing blister grows up through the ground before bursting in a shower of disgusting fluids.
Yeah, that attack he did, it looks like it's absolutely devastating. So it should be, again, they're going to have a lot of area of effect damage, and I think this is going to be a really tough faction to handle in multiplayer. Just because of that, right? Having all that area of effect, having a lot of numbers, and having those Nurglings that can, blow up on contact.
Slaanesh's demons wither and die beneath the strain of a dozen maladies.
Yeah, that 1v1 looks pretty epic. So let's see who has the advantage.
The garden is again secured, and Kugath can turn his attentions to the mortal realm at last. How many potential plagues already lost to Nakari's schemes, Kugath cannot say. He knows only that the Arch-Tempter will suffer every sickness known to Grandfather Nurgle. The Earth-Father would expect no less.
So that was pretty interesting. It really does show off, I think, what's going to be one of the more powerful factions in terms of like what they have available. A faction that has numbers, that has air effect attack, and has throwaway units that can zone out the enemy. So pretty interesting. I'm very excited to see what this Nurgle faction is going to bring to the game. So this has been the Theban Gamer bringing you some more Warhammer 3 news. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.